Yeah, hi guys, it's Jimmy, and I've pulled out my APs, taken them out of the safe, and yeah, I thought I'd have a bit of chat about Audemars Piguet. I'm wearing my blue offshore chronograph, got the chronograph running. It's my favourite sports watch, I think. Um, but yeah, the reason I took them out is I've noticed, over the last few months, just how much they are skyrocketing in price. You know, the Royal Oaks, I mean, pretty much in any size configuration, um, it's just gone absolutely crazy. And it's just funny because I was the two that you're looking at here, my time only and my chronograph in the 41mm cases. I bought them both at the authorized dealer and at a discount. They weren't huge discount, but still somewhere around that 10-12%. And I think when I bought this, I had to pay retail. There was no discount. But I believe I bought the stainless steel one at the beginning of 2016 and the gold one at the beginning of 2017. And the one on my wrist, I bought this on the release year. It was the first one that they received. But I don't remember what year. I'll be lying. I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019, whatever the release year on this was. And I also bought a blue dial offshore diver, which I didn't keep. I never even unwrapped it actually. I kept it for a few months and ended up selling that watch. And at the time, I think I paid retail and for the diver, and I sold it, I think, a couple thousand under retail. Now, the offshores, certain ones are getting a premium. They're not, it's the Royal Oaks that are just gone crazy. I have noticed that this indigo blue, after I bought it, I noticed they were trading, on the second-hand market slightly below, and now that's sort of creeped up, around retail price or slightly above. But having said that, you don't see a lot of the indigo blue ones on. Every time I check on Chrono just to see what's going on, I don't typically see this one very much. But as for these things though, like the 41 time only, it's just amazing. It's well above double retail on the grey. Having said that, it's almost impossible to get. Like, this is discontinued now. This is the 15400. Now we've got the 15500, but they're pretty much impossible to get here in Australia anyway. They're just not sending them here. So you've really got to pick them up on the grey. It's just, it's gotten so crazy. But yeah, I remember getting a discount and expecting a discount on this watch. And when I got it, you knew that the day you bought it, even on discount, that, it didn't retain its value. If you wanted to move it on, you had to be willing to lose a few $1,000s. And now it's just amazing that, if you want to get your hands on one of these, you've got to pay. Well, I don't know what the retail is now, but the retail of this watch when I bought it I think it was just over 21,000 Australian dollars. That was back in early 2016. And I think I got about 10% off. And now they're trading in that, let's say, $45,000 to $55,000 range, even for this silver dial or white dial, whatever you want to call it. I just can't imagine paying that much. Like, I'm glad I've got them because I just wouldn't buy them now if that's the case. Now, when you talk about the gold one, this one blows my mind because bought this at a discount as well. It was only this particular blue dial in the yellow gold was only made for 1 year. I think it was 2016. I got this at the very start of 2017. And now this is trading triple what I paid. Yellow gold with blue dial, even if it's the newer version with the contrasting subdials. Yeah, I've noticed they're asking in that $200,000 range, and this is probably the rarest variant. It was not made very long. I don't think there's many examples because you never find many for sale, if any. The only ones I have found for sale have got price on request. It is gorgeous. I love this thing. It's never going anywhere. So an important watch to me. It wasn't a wedding anniversary present, but it's just amazing. And then the yellow gold version of this with the perpetual calendar, I was offered that. I think it was the year later after purchasing this. There was I remember it was 100. It was about a year after I bought this watch. I think the retail was 120,000 Australian dollars. They would have done a discount of that, somewhere around the 10%, if I had purchased it. So I would have been looking at somewhere around that, just under 110, or even if it only gave me 5%, it still would have been somewhere in that just over $110,000 range. And those things are just skyrocketed. It's crazy. They are gorgeous. I wanted to buy it, but I mean, it's a big purchase. You start talking above 100,000. It's it's always the way. You just go, oh yeah, I can do it, but is it the right thing to do? You sort of start feeling a bit selfish, knowing that it's a lot of money to be spending on a watch, and so you think now that, look how much they've skyrocketed, but at the same time, if I did buy it, I wouldn't be interested in selling it anyway. So what does it matter what it's worth? This is never going anywhere. But just knowing that if I wanted to purchase one now, even in the new version, it's going to be impossible to get retail, and I couldn't pay the great prices. So it's crazy. The only way I could is if you've got something, so I think a lot of guys, just trade out of one watch into another. You might have something else that's desirable, like a ceramic Daytona or whatever, and you know that you bridge the gap between flipping from one to the other, and you get to experience the different watches. So you don't worry about the actual price. It's just the gap changing over. And I think a bit of that fuels the market because you can do that. But if you're like me and you like to acquire a collection and you're not interested in really, selling or trading back, it gets very expensive because once you get into the higher end stuff, they're big ticket items. But yeah, so I'm sort of happy that I got these when I did. I don't wear them all that much now. I wear my gold one, for going out on to a nice destination, if you're going out for a nice dinner or whatever. Otherwise, I'm not going to wear that anywhere else. The white one I barely wear. I did wear it a fair bit at the start. You can see it's got a couple of marks on the bezel. I mean, the finish on them is so soft. You've got to be careful. That whole brush surface. You rub anything, like even something like plastic on there, you can put a mark in it. It's just so soft. So got to be really careful with that. But yeah, it's unbelievable what the market's doing. How long will it last? Because it's kind of funny. I'm into the vintage Rolex and everything, but I've noticed that over the last couple of years, they've sort of plateaued a bit. They've held their prices. No one's dropped their prices on them, but they haven't continued going up. And maybe that's because they had already gone up prior to all the new stuff exploding. They already were quite high. Probably 3-4 years ago, they were already getting quite expensive. The desirable, vintage Rolex sports models, and now they're maintaining. They're not going up. They're not really going down. as long as you've got good examples. So I don't know what the future holds for them. I don't believe that they'll collapse because with vintage stuff, there's only so many good ones out there on the market, and that's all there is. With new stuff, as they keep producing, who knows what the future holds, especially when it gets as high as it has at the moment. But yeah, so I like my APs, but I don't see myself buying anymore. Especially after the last one, I got offered the blue diver, and the blue one, of course, I'll go grab it. And after I pretty much bought it and wore it at home in the evening that day, and realised this, I don't know, it's not really for me. I think because I enjoy this one much more. The chronograph version is my taste. So these three will do it for me. And just can't believe what the values are doing. Because Royal Oaks in general, they were quite soft a few years ago. Gorgeous watch. I bought it because I actually bought this gold one over a gold Nautilus, because I just think it's more masculine, for me at least anyway. And I've got a larger wrist. The size is probably a bit better than the Nautilus, and I just like it's more angular. It's just something about it I like more. But because what else can be said? It's just amazing what the market's doing. It just comes down to supply and demand, and there's a lot of demand and a lot of new people coming on, I think, that are investment driven. I'm not going to complain about any of it. That's what it is. I guess it makes it interesting. There's never a dull moment with it. If it was too easy, in what way would I be collecting? If it's just any day of the week I can just go there and get that model I've been chasing. Whereas if it takes a bit more homework and you have to wait a bit and find the right model and whatever, it's what makes the collecting interesting and fun, I guess. Sometimes frustrating as well. But anyway, I've got a couple other videos coming up for a couple watches that are not actually mine, but were pretty cool. So those videos will be coming up. And until then, guys, I think I've rambled on long enough. I'll see you next time, and take care. Bye bye.